right, Arc Nation, welcome back for another edition of learning a bit more about our coaching staff. Today we are pleasantly visited by Rich Hall, the head wrestling coach here at Brush High School. And we're going to learn a little bit more about what makes him tick and also Brush Wrestling as a program. So, Coach, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
So let's go back a little ways. So back when you were in high school and college, tell us a little bit about your wrestling background and what drew you to the sport.
My wrestling background comes from high school. Just went to Maple Heights. A friend of mine introduced me to wrestling at the YMCA. And at the YMCA, I just fell in love with it. And then I found out about the youth program at Maple Heights High School, and me and my brother joined the team. And ever since then, all the way up through high school, it was rough. It was tough. And then finally, my 8th grade year, things came together. I went undefeated. And then 9th grade year went undefeated. But then we had a tough varsity squad. With the 2 kids I was behind the first 2 years of my career, they were state qualifiers. So, and they went every year that I was there until they left. And then my junior year, I finally get a big win over at Minter to help us win and beat Minter at their home meet.
Okay.
So my sophomore year is when I became a varsity wrestler.
Okay.
And then my experience after that was I didn't go to college right away. I went to a school that did not have wrestling, but then I started a youth wrestling team, Bookville Youth Wrestling in Akron, Ohio. And then from that point on, I just grew and eventually became the head coach here after my son stopped wrestling.
Okay. So you have been a participant as a wrestler,
yes,
and now of course as a coach. So tell us a little bit about what Coach Hall would say to the wrestler Hall in terms of good advice and technique and that kind of thing.
The best advice I would give the wrestler Hall would be don't cut too much weight. Stay at your natural weight. You'll be healthier, you'll be stronger.
Okay.
Which is what we promote here. We don't promote the kids to cut weight. We promote them to lose weight. And with that said, we want them to lift and be stronger into the weight classes that they're in.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about what you feel, and this is okay to go ahead and brag now. So what makes you a good coach for this team, for the Brush Wrestling program?
Having and providing and choosing a good staff to coach the kids. Being able to network with the previous coaches, previous teachers, and get input and find those kids. The only people on my coaching staff that are not alumni is myself,
Okay.
and Colleen Greer. Everybody else is an alumni.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about how you motivate wrestlers? Because it is a tough sport. It's a grueling sport. It doesn't maybe get some of the rewards and the accolades that the other sports get. What is it that you tell the kids in terms of sticking with it year after year after year?
That it gets better, but you have to put the work in. Wrestling is work. It's hard work. It's just, you have to come down here, whether you hate it, love it, like it, a little bit like it. You come in here and you have to have discipline. And you know the phrase for discipline is, in order to be disciplined, you have to do what you hate like you love it.
Oh, okay. That's a great one.
And we go there. It's not my quote, but last person I seen say that was Mike Tyson. And that's what discipline is. You have to do what you don't like you love it. And nobody should know the difference. When you come down in this room, you walk in, you should see you working your hardest. You should see you putting in the work. You should work over the summer. Now, one of the things I want to do is eventually get our kids to compete over the summer, not just practice. We have one student who's currently ranked 7th in the state in the preseason here, Jonathan Sims. He wrestled at Fargo this year. He wrestled in some national duels with Beat the Streets. So he's competing outside of just being in this room.
Sure.
Some of our girls aren't there yet, mentally. They have not turned that corner yet, where they just are ready to break free from everybody else and go against the grain and wrestle. So just making sure we get our kids in the right position to be successful.
Okay. Can you tell a little bit to Arc Nation about the keys or the techniques you think are important to in-match coaching? So, you know, the practice area is one whole realm, but when you get into a match, what are the keys to coaching during the match?
Making sure the students understand their proximity, their mat awareness, making sure that they understand the basic techniques. Everybody wants to learn these fancy moves, but really basic techniques like a single leg, double leg, a bar, a half Nelson. These are all moves that are basic moves that can win a match and have won matches for centuries. These matches are matches that can that are won in overtime. Overtime matches are not won by sometimes they're won by a fancy move, but 90% of the time they're won just by standing up, by an escape, by Malik on his way to placing 7th in the state, lost a match 1-0 against St. Ed's. Like literally, he just couldn't escape.
Mm-hmm.
The kid just got an escape on him, and that was it. Okay. They tussled, they wrestled, neither one of them could take each other down. It came down to the up and down position, and that match was won. That was the difference between competing for 7th and 8th and competing for 5th and 6th.
Okay.
And possibly 3rd and 4th.
Wonderful. So let's pretend we're in a plane right now, 30,000 feet above brush. You haven't had a whole lot of chance to assess your team in matches yet. It's early, but what can you tell us about this year's edition of brush wrestling, both boys and girls?
This year's edition of brush wrestling, we grew the team. So we have approximately 15 to 16 boys, but just by themselves. And we have 10 girls, 10 solid girls coming in, and the weight classes. Once we just hydrated, which is checked our weight and hydration, got our weight loss plans, we should be able to fill 10 weight classes this year on the girls' side.
Okay.
Which is a great thing. It's a great feat. Actually, might be 9, but still. We have an opportunity. We've been invited. The girls have been invited to the state duels. They'll compete in February 3rd, to see if they move to the regional. Mm-hmm. We finished 5th out of 85 teams represented last year in the regional tournament, and look forward to getting back there and finishing higher than that this year. But the boys represented very well. You know, the teams is young now. We have 3 returning wrestlers, 2 experienced in Gabe Enoch, and then we have Jonathan Sims.
Yep.
And then we also have Aaron Lockett, was a freshman last year, and he's a sophomore this year that looked promising coming in this year.
Okay.
We have some other students on the team that have been here, but when I look at the kids who have an opportunity to do some damage, those 3 right there have opportunities to write their own ticket if they so choose to.
Okay.
But, you know, you got to put the work in.
So something we got to talk to about Arc Nation, because not everybody is aware of how popular and inspirational ladies wrestling has been. It wasn't always part of the landscape. It's fairly recent. And this Sunday, we do have our 2023 Lady Arc Invitational Wrestling Tournament. I believe 35 to 40 schools, something like that.
35 teams currently registered to
Talk
participate.
to us about that growth in popularity and what is fueling that.
Well, let me just take you back. This is the third year we've hosted the tournament. After COVID, we decided let's do something. We got a gym. We got a big gym. Let's do something for our girls and see if we get people to come in. We had 56 girls come in. We had 73 bouts for that first year. We had some winners. We had some losers, but everybody got a chance to wrestle 4 to 5 matches. This year, we had an increase in 6 matches, but last year, the tournament grew from 56 participants to 130. And this year we're expecting approximately 200 girls to participate. So the growth is phenomenal. And girls wrestling has sparked the drive to increase the participation in both sides, males and females. There's not enough girls right now to fill the college positions that are being opened. Mm-hmm. So we're playing catch up. Right now there are probably 7 Division I clubs, 4 official Division I teams in the freestyle wrestling at the collegiate level.
Okay.
but men's wrestling was waning for a little bit, and now we're back on the drive to come up at this time. So we want to make sure that we stay consistent. We'll get the right kids in here. Not only get the right kids in here, but drive the kids that we have now, both male and female. Right now we have 2 coaches now. We have a head coach in the girls' side, which is Coach Range, Coach Devin Range, who's up on that board right there. With his experience, not only did he wrestle in college, but he's also a state placer here.
Okay.
And he comes from a lineage that is truly the wrestling heritage. And that's, his grandfather was a silver medalist in the Pan Am Games. His father was I believe he was a 2-time state champ at Heights.
Okay.
So Range will tell you, he says, I'm the only one that couldn't do it because he took 5th.
Yeah.
But that's still a wall to be on.
On the wall of honor. Yeah.
So we have some rich heritage in here. Our middle school coach is doing awesome. We have a new coach down there that's rebuilding the squad. He has over 17 to 20 kids on the roster. So we're just building from the ground up. Our youth team just hosted here their first hosting of dual meets within an 8-team division. And they did a phenomenal job for us being out here only 3 years, 2 years in the league, 1 year without a league, and now we're just out here just wrestling.
Okay.
We've got kids coming down Mondays and Wednesdays down here to wrestle with the youth, and our kids are here daily. And we look forward to this. Both teams will be wrestling this weekend. The boys will be over at Beechwood at the Ron Maddow, and the girls will be here at the Lady Arcs Invitation.
Okay.
On Sunday.
So as we wrap up a little bit, you stole my thunder just a little bit. Sorry. Because I was going to mention the youth tournament that we just had, which was a great thing. It was very, very populated, very well attended. So it leads me into my last question, which is, as we think about youth wrestlers and you being the head coach of the Brush High School program, what do you look for in wrestlers as they are progressing along the line? Obviously, there's the coaching techniques and all of that, but as far as the intangibles, the things we can't see, what do you look for in a male or female wrestler?
Well, first of all, we look for that fire. We look for that natural ability. If they have that natural ability, we want to hone that. We want to get it. We want to get them to understand how good they really are. Mm-hmm. For example, our 100-pounder, Linnea, she's the one that's on our picture on our schedule right now. She's just natural. She understands her body in many ways that most people don't. Now, there are some things that she could work on. She sits too high sometimes when she's wrestling, so which means that kind of gets her into trouble. She ends up rolling around and flopping around versus sitting back and getting more control and controlling the body from the hips versus just getting out there and going wild and crazy. We have to have a controlled, how does one say this? A controlled fire in what they do. So making sure that we nurture that fire and nurture their skills, nurture their abilities, and keep them out of bad headspaces to make sure that they understand that they are here to make themselves better. Not just, I get the glory no matter what. You're either going to be good or you're not. I'm going to get the bad and the good. So, my first time going to States was when Malik Williams went. I said I would never go to States until I took somebody because I never got to go. Mm-hmm. And I truly never went. And so when he made it, I cried for him, but I also cried for myself.
Sure.
And so we know Jonathan is poised to make the next step on the boys' side. And we have 3 returning state qualifiers in Linnea, Anthony, Olivia Fox, and Lenasia Dixon. But we also have 2 other returning wrestlers in Michaela Shaw and Brooklyn Baskins. Mm-hmm. We have 2 juniors. The rest are all sophomores. So those kids they're all poised. I literally am thinking that we possibly could take 8 kids to States.
Wow.
So whether we do it or not, it's going to be up to them. I mean, our coaching staff is here. We're going to put the work in. Now, where the kids put the work in, that's on them. We need to push them to get it done, get their work done, and get in here and make the best of whatever situation they're in.
Coach, want to wish you blessings and great success in the upcoming season. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
Arc Nation, come on out and see the Arcs. There are some home meets or definitely meets in the area that would be great for you to attend. So come on out and support
We'll be at
Brush Wrestling.
Mayfield. We'll be at Mayfield. We have 2 home meets here, and we're going to be in Mayfield in January.
All right.
So
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Go Arcs.
go Arts.